Jai Shri Ram, welcome all of you all for our weekly Ramayan class, and we are following the Balkand in the fifth chapter of the Balkand of the Sarga, and completed the verse number 5. So we'll be recapping the verse number 5 properly, and then we'll be going ahead. So in verse number 5, Valmiki writes, "There was a great, vast, and happy kingdom named Kosla, situated on the bank of Saryu River, and that was flourishing with money and grains." Now, one has to understand the relevance of the Saryu River also. We all know that Yamuna has its own glories, Ganga has its own glories, all Saraswati, all rivers have their own glories. But many people must not be knowing the glory of uh, Saryu River. Saryu River flows through Ayodhya. It's in the back. There is one place called Guptar Ghat, the place where Ramchandraji took all the Ayodhya Vasis and left for Saket Dham. Now, what is Saket Dham? Please understand. As per your love towards law, towards your love and reverence, what you have, there are various lokas. Those who love Krishna in a Sakhya Bhav or in a Vatsalya Bhav, or might be in conjugal love, they go to Goloka Vrindavan. Those in awe and reverence go to Vaikuntha. It's the same Lord. There's no different Lord. Those who love Lord Ramchandraji go to Saket Lok. So all lokas, it will be wrong or foolish. Only a very, foolish devotee will try to differentiate between these lokas. These are all none different than Vaikuntha, but Vaikuntha with different names, different bhava, with different rasa bhava. These are the different Vaikunthas. So, many people tell me, Prabhuji, no, Goloka is superior, Vaikuntha is inferior. It's the biggest blunder where one can ever do or think about it. All lokas are the same. There's no difference. If at all there is differences, the rasa bhava. The one who is in conjugal love, Krishna, cannot go to Vaikuntha. He cannot have experienced that love. That is only possible in Goloka. Similarly, one who is, who is in the Dasya Bhav of Lord Ramchandraji or Sita Maya have to enter Saket Dham. So, coming back to our Saryu. Saryu River, yes, undoubtedly, it's more precious by some acharyas or more valuable than Ganga itself. Now, we all know Ganga, how did it start? How did it emanate? It started when Lord Vamana, in the Swamana avatar, when Lord Vishnu came as Vamana, raised his foot. He punctured the universal egg, the shell. He punctured it because his leg was so huge. And the tip of the toe was seen by Brahma. So Brahma, in awe and reverence, immediately took the kamandalu, his water pot, whatever you call it, which was full of material water. Because Brahma is a creator, so he's having material water. He used that material water, this prakritik jal ko उन्होंने use किया, and he poured it on the toe as an offering. And that water, having touched the body of Lord Vishnu in the form of Vamana, became Ganga, flowing through all the three worlds. It was only in the heavenly world, but it was, who got it down? Can anyone tell me?
Hare Krishna Babuji, Dandavat Pranam. Sagar Rishi's grandson.
Name.
Bhagirath.
Bhagirath. That is why one of the name of Ganga is Bhagirathi. So Bhagirath got it to the earth platform. Earlier it was not in the earthly platform. It was only in the spiritual platform, or rather in the heavenly platform. So this is the origin or the story behind Ganga. Now, what is the story behind the origination of Saryu? Once we all heard in Bhagavatam that when Brahmaji was looking around here and there, he was trying to identify his actual identity and his birth, his source. He was looking here and there. He only heard two words: tap, tap, tap. tapa, tapa, tapa. 3 times he heard. He understood. He was smart, intelligent. He immediately sat down to do tapasya. And when he was doing tapasya, he did tapasya for a long time and a very strong tapasya. And seeing that, Lord was very much moved. He started shedding tears of joy. He just appeared before Lord Brahma and started shedding tears out of joy. Oh, what a tapasya you're doing, what a penance you're doing. And the minute Brahmaji saw his tears falling, Lord's tears falling, immediately he took it in his kamandalu and collected it. He immediately collected it. Now, what's the difference between Ganga story and Saryu story? I mean, the beginning, there, Brahmaji already had collected material water which he used to wash. Here, his kamandalu was not there, was not filled with water, because he had not done any creation that time. He was yet to create, because only under Lord's guidance and blessings he can create. So he was just waiting. At that time, when Lord appeared over in front of him, and moved by his sheer penance and austerity and tapasya, immediately Lord started shedding tears, and those tears which are rolling down from Lord's eyes was collected by Maji. And he was thinking, where do I keep this water? Where do I store this water? And what did he do? He made a place called Man Sarovar, what we all call as Man Sarovar. Actual name is Manas Sarovar. The meaning is with his mind, Man. Man se, unhone us sarovar, means lake, was created. And he kept that water over. And it is from that Man Sarovar that the entire Saryu originates and flows through Ayodhya. So now, an additional information. What is this water? Again and again, Prabhuji, what you're asking, we know the tears of the Lord. And tears of the Lord means what? Lord is Satchit Anand. We are fragmental parts of Lord. No doubt about it, right? Lord has said in the Bhagavad Gita, Mameva and Shijiva Loke Jivutta Sanatana. So what are we? We are also fragmental parts of the Lord, means we are also Satchit Anand. But the problem is we are all trapped in this material body, trying to take Anand in material things, which is not our actual Anand, our happiness, our bliss. So there's very famous saying, sloka. Om Purnamada Purnamadam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasa Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Now, whatever emanates out of Lord, Bhagwan se jo bhi nikalta hai, that is Purna. But the best part is, अगर आपके पास 10 रसगुल्ला हो, उसमें से मैंने 2 रसगुल्ले ले लिए या 1 रसगुल्ला ले लिया, so how much is left? As per material calculations, only 9 are left, because 10 minus 1 is 9. But this calculation doesn't work with Lord. Lord says, since he is Purna, he is complete. There's nothing incomplete in him. Even if Lord has got 10 gulab jamun and you take 1 gulab jamun from Lord, what will remain? 10 will remain. And what has come out is also complete, as the Lord himself is. That is why the tears of Lord Vishnu or Lord Vishnu, which Brahmaji, in front of Brahmaji, which he shed, were also Satchitanand. And that is why this is more, an representative of Lord, because it does not touch the Lord and come compared to Ganga. It has originated from the eyes of the Lord. So that is why Saryu is more important than your Ganga. Ganga is definitely Papa Mokshadayani, Papadayani, everything is fine. But equally, Saryu is more important, rather, from the Acharya's point of view. Yes, Damini Mataji, can you read verse number 6?
Yes, Prabhuji. In the kingdom of Kosala, there was a world famous city named Ayodhya that was personally created by Manu, the Lord of mankind. Should I read the explanation?
Just one. Loka Vishrutaha, world famous. Why world famous? Because This was one of the first cities created by Manu. Who is Manu? Today we are all called as Manushya. Manushya means humans, right? That's a general word. I mean, contrary to the foreign or the Western, what do you say, education or knowledge, where they say we came out from monkeys, evolved from monkeys. I have to wonder, वृंदावन में इतने monkeys है, वो कब जाके इंसान बने? So that I can ask my money and my dresses, phone कितना लिया उन्होंने, कितना कासस चुराया है उन्होंने. So generally people say, this Western education says that man evolved from monkeys, but that's not the truth. Manu, the first. And how was Manu created? Manu came from the right hand side of Lord Brahma. And his wife came from the left hand side. And they were first given the job of creating mankind itself. So we are all kids of Manu. And that is why we are called as Manushya. So definitely when a father creates a child, he has to make a place for these kids to stay, right? हम लोग भी आजकल यही करते हैं ना. When we get old, we try to buy a house or make a new house for our son or daughter. What is the purpose? We make sure that our child doesn't have any problem. Same Manu also did. He also made this kingdom of Ayodhya. But what is the speciality? Ayodhya stands one step ahead as far as this speciality is concerned. There are Sapta Mokshadayani Puris. Puris means cities. 7 cities which are Mokshadayani. But we people, of course, devotees go over there. But worldly people generally try to go to Switzerland, New York, or Los Angeles, or any other place they won't like to go. Frankfurt, ये वो सब जगह घूमने जाएंगे. But mind you, they are not Mokshadayani Puris. They may be nice cities, but they are not Mokshadayani. What is Mokshadayani? It has the capability and the capacity to liberate a being. How it has a capacity? Before that, let's understand which are those 7 cities. And it's written in the Garuda Puran clearly states, Ayodhya, Mathura, Maya, Kashi, Kanchi, Avantika, Puri, Dwarayati Chaiva, Sapte iti Mokshadayakaha. Very important. Ayodhya, the first place in this world which can grant you salvation or liberation is Ayodhya. Then Mathura. So don't say, Arey Prabhuji, hamara Vrindavan nahi hai. Vrindavan is a part of Mathura. In the district is Mathura only. Even if you have any postal address, Vrindavan, then stroke Mathura has to come. Then Maya. Now what is Maya? It's nothing but then Haridwar. Haridwar is also an old place. Then Kashi. So how many places we are going in this yatra for Mokshadayana places? We are going to Kashi, we are going to Ayodhya. And we just went a few months before to Mathura also. That is to our thing also. Kashi or Varanasi, Kanchipuram, Avantika or Ujjain, and Dwaraka. So I think we have completed almost all the places, leaving aside 1 and 2. Are the 7 places that can bestow liberation or moksha on any living being. Now, here a question may arise. People generally, I have seen many of my seniors say, Prabhuji, वो लोग धामवासी हैं, धामवासी तुरंत liberate हो जाता है, and all that stuff. How do you see that? How do you understand that? Just being born in a dham, is it enough? Is it a qualification enough to get liberated? If no, why? If yes, why? And if no, then why are these places called as Mokshadayaka, Puris, which can give you liberation? Come on fast, getting late.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Yes, Prabhu.
यानी वहां पे बॉर्न होने से हम लोग यानी एलिजिबल नहीं होते, पर अगर हम लोग भक्ति करेंगे तो ही हम लोग मोक्ष प्राप्त करेंगे. पर
yes. Being born is a facility which you have received. Being born is a facility one receives. But one has to capitalize it properly by following the rules and regulations of the dham. If someone stays in the dham but does all nonsense, definitely he is eligible for hell and not for liberation. However, a person staying in dham, for example, I'll give you a very clear-cut example. There are, Ganga, the most pious river in the world. मरने पे हम लोग सबके मुंह में गंगा जल डालते हैं, right? Now that river Ganga has lots of fishes. You know that? Lot of crocodiles. The famous घड़ियाल, गंगा के किनारे घड़ियाल बहुत famous है. Alligators, what they call us. So what do you say? भाई alligators are there. They are living in the Ganges water. हम तो एक बार 3 बार डुबकी लगा के आ जाते हैं. Once or twice in a lifetime we may go. But we are supposed to get liberated. How come these alligators and fishes don't get liberated? Tortoises are there in the water. Why don't they get liberated? Living in that surrounding doesn't liberate you unless and until one doesn't connect himself with the Supreme Lord. So it's very important that one gets connected with Lord, and being in the dham, it facilitates, it enhances the speed of your devotion, and at the same time, it makes sure that one who does devotion over there is surely in the path of liberation. So these 7 places, very, very important. And Ayodhya comes in number 1. Mathura comes number 2. So it is evident from the above shloka how important the city of Ayodhya is. It is the foremost of the 7 liberating places. It is said that just if one just reaches Ayodhya and can see the Saryu river, all the sins of billions of lives are cleansed immediately. I forgot to put the star condition on the book. The star condition is just by reaching Ayodhya, seeing Saryu is not enough. You need to be more steadfast in your devotional service. Some progress in your devotional service has to be seen. If it is not seen, it is a big waste. It becomes just a tour. Like, tours and travels take you to Singapore, Hong Kong, this and that. So for you, it's another, ठीक है, हम उधर घूम के नहीं आए, इधर घूम के आए. कहाँ घूम के आए? अयोध्या घूम के. That's it. So please understand, it's very important that going to the dham is important, but equally important is one should be more steadfast in devotion. Yes, Damini Mataji, can you please?
Yeah. The city, which was 12 yojanas in length and 3 yojanas in breadth, was well planned with broad highways. This great city was well laid. Roads were spread with lots of beautiful flowers and sprinkled with water throughout the year.
Continue.
King Dashratha, who was expanding the prosperity of his great kingdom, had established the city of Ayodhya just as Indra had established heaven. The city had well-decorated door arches and also well-divided.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay, read this.
The city had well-decorated door arches and also well-divided internal places like markets and so on. It had all types of tools and weapons and was inhabited by various craftsmen.
What we see now, we will see, read up further also, we will see how the city has numerous orators, speakers, and nice fortifications and nice armory and this and that. What do we learn from that? Now, modern day cities, what we call as so-called modern days, or rather even Western countries, Western cities also are more well fortified with missiles, drones, and you name it, hypersonic missiles, everything is there. Then what makes India, or rather these places, unique and different? What's the different? And there are also rulers there, also there are rulers here also. And why it is said that King Dashratha, who was expanding the prosperity of his great kingdom, had established the city of Ayodhya just as Indra established heaven. So what do we understand from this? Why is it compared to heaven? Come on, fast, fast, fast.
Prabhuji, it was very opulent.
Okay. That's a very materialistic answer.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Yes. Yes, Madhavi.
प्रभु जी यहाँ पे भगवान खुद जन्म लेते उसके लिए या
भगवान यहाँ खुद जन्म लिए, ठीक है। समथिंग मोर, समथिंग मोर, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। याद रखना, अगर कोई जगह है इस धरती में, हर कोई जगह अच्छा है, हर कोई जगह में भगवान है, एवरी प्लेस इज गॉड, बट व्हाट मेक्स इट स्पेशल इज when it is ruled by a righteous king, एक धार्मिक राजा से जब उस जगह को शासित किया जाता है ना, then prosperity and happiness comes. Just by material progress, material opulence. Somebody just said material opulence. Yes, material opulence is what we all desire, but what is the use if there is only zero culture and non-godliness? There are so many countries who don't accept God. They want only material progress, only material opulence. No, any opulence or material, opulence or material happiness is only justified when the ruler or the people are dharmic, means they are righteous, they follow dharma. Otherwise, it is a big list. Wherever you stay, material opulence, you will get nice food, nice clothing, nice things to see, nice things to enjoy. Of course, then you will enjoy nonsense, जैसे दारू पिया, non-veg खाया, all गलत चीज व्यभिचार किया, then you will find happiness. And that is already, you go to the West, you see casinos, Las Vegas, you go, wow, the best nightlife you have is in Las Vegas. Brazil, why? But is that, what's the difference what makes India special, what makes Ayodhya special? There is no God over there. Here we have God. Throughout the year in India, if you see, we have got some ritual or the other. Right now, Pitru Paksha is going on. Immediately, Navratri is going to come. Immediately, now we are going to celebrate the arrival of Lord Ramchandraji from Ayodhya, from killing, what do you say, Ravana, and coming back to Ayodhya, which is called as Diwali. So throughout the year, right from Sankranti to Diwali, further many more functions too, celebrations are done in India, which are connected with God. How many celebrations are done abroad other than New Year and your so-called Christmas is done with God, connection with God. So this is the biggest advantage, be it be Ayodhya, be it be India. So now Valmiki ji is describing the opulence of the city, or rather how nicely and well planned the city was. Again, this shows we have not derived from monkeys. This further confirms that we have not derived from monkeys, because we have got literature which date back to billions and billions of years. And Vedas have clearly mentioned, when our Lord himself is having a form, why can't the human beings have a form? Well, they will have a. Okay, please continue, Kamini.
The prosperous city had numerous orators and speakers. The city had splendid fortifications, flags, and hundreds of missiles and weapons. The city accommodated female dancers and theatrical troupes. All around the city, there were gardens and mango orchards. The city was surrounded by curved fort walls.
So what does this mean? Everywhere they're trying to mention how fortified the city was. They had missiles, they had all weapons, and at the same time, they had dancers, theatrical troops, and orators, speakers, name it. In every way, be you call it, whether it be defense, or be it be entertainment or opulence, in every aspect, Ayodhya was flourishing. Continue.
The fort was surrounded by deep moats, which were very difficult to cross over. There were sufficient elephants, horses, cows, camels, and donkeys. The city was surrounded by priestly kings who came frequently to pay their dues to King Dashratha. The city's beauty was enhanced by the flow of merchants and people from various places. The city palaces, which were like mountains, were ornamented with gems and precious stones. They had multi-chambered tall mansions, like in the city of Amravati, Indra's capital.
Other evidence. Flow of merchants. What does this mean? Trade, business was also prevalent in those days. We are talking of which yuga? Treta Yuga. Generally, there is a big conception. Huh? People generally say, no, Treta Yuga matlab teen. Dwapar means two. How many of you fully agree with it? How does this name derive? Kritayug or Satyug. Kritayug or Satyug is the same. Somewhere in Shastra it is mentioned as Kritayuga. And then it is Treta, then Dwapar, then Kalyug. It is these names are derived from the four legs of Dharma, which was existing in Kritayug, that is in Satyug. Each leg got destroyed in each yuga. First in Treta, first leg got destroyed. In Dwapar, the second leg got destroyed. So only two legs were left. In Treta means 3 legs of Dharma was left. In Dwapar, 2 legs were left. And in Kali Yuga, it is just dangling on little bit of truth. Rest, everything is gone. Rest, your cleanliness, your daya, everything is gone. So this is the situation in Treta, where one leg of Dharma has vanished. In spite of that, this is the opulence. See. Cutting.
The beautiful city was elegantly shaped like an Ashtapada game board with many beautiful women folks moving around. It was abundant with all kinds of gems and precious stones and boasted of several story mansions. The city had dense dwellings with no land that was unused, and all construction was on leveled land. The best fragrant rice was abundantly available, and the water as sweet as sugarcane juice. Ayodhya was the best city on the earth. The city used to resonate with the beatings of drums and mridams, along with stringed instruments played loudly. The rows of well-constructed houses with beautiful interiors look like heavenly airplanes achieved by once again, sorry, the rows of the well-constructed houses like beautiful interiors look like heavenly airplanes achieved by the Siddhas through their austerities. The houses were inhabited by the best of the men. The expert arches of
explanation. Yeah.
okay. From the entire description given about Ayodhya by sage Valmiki, we can get a clear understanding of how people lived in a very civilized manner and had all the amenities even in the Treta Yuga. From this, we come to know how ancient is our Sanatan Dharma. When the Britishers came to India, they wanted us to believe that all Indians were primitive, backward, and ignorant. They had to do this because unless and until the Indians did not accept themselves as lower or inferior to the Britishers, they could not have ruled us and made us slaves. However, it is eminent from the Shastras that we had well-planned cities with good fortification. Moreover, the kings ruled the kingdom under the guidelines of the Shastras. Our Rishi Munis were focused on spiritual advancement rather than on the material advancement, which is the opposite of the Western world. The presence of Pushpak Viman possessed by Ravana proves that flying aircraft existed in India for lakhs of years before the Western world could even think about it. But sadly, today the young generation is lured by the charm of modern life, which is no good. It needs to be balanced with spiritual life also. All material things and progress can give happiness to our gross body, our senses, or our ego. However, our soul is spiritual and can get happiness only from spiritual things. For example, by listening to the activities of the Lord, singing His name and glories. It is high time that we strike a balance and have an equal proportion of material and spiritual enjoyment. When a person advances in spiritual life, he realizes that there is more enjoyment and happiness in the spiritual life rather than in material life. The next verse will describe the great qualities of the people of Ayodhya and how principled they were. Everyone was living a life guided by the Shastras.
So very important understanding what we get by seeing all this opulent and planning of city planning with fortifications and uh, weapons and all that, arsenals and all that, only shows we're quite advanced. But we were advanced in only things which were required. We were never advanced in things which were not required. The Britishers came and they said, "Oh, you don't have hotels. We will give you hotels. You don't know how to live life. We'll give you hotels." And what has happened by the coming of hotels and clubs? What is happening? Some puja part is happening over there. Only the 4 regulative principles are broken over there. All 4 regulative principles are broken. Meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. And that is the purpose of going to a club or going to a big hotel. So what is the thing? That's why our sadhus, our kings were not interested in developing material things. Yes, we were interested in we had much developed weaponry system. We can see Ashwatthama firing the Brahmastra, pinpointed to only kill one person, that too in the womb of a mother. The mother will not die, only the child will die. To that precision, we had weapons. The mantras were so powerful. Just by chanting mantras, anyone could be killed or anyone could be punished. So all again and again only points out to one thing, that we had already progressed much ahead before the Westerners could ever think. But today the situation is bad. The young generation is very much attracted towards the so-called shining and showy progress of material life. Please do they understand that that is just allurement which is not going to give them tangible happiness. Tangible happiness can be achieved only in spiritual life. And now you will see in the forthcoming verses, in the next verses, how the people of Ayodhya, how they were. And that is how we need to change ourselves. Please go ahead.
The expert archers of Ayodhya would never kill a person who was alone or one who was without a father or a son. They would not use the art of shooting arrows by sound on a fleeing person.
Just imagine, we hear off and on, we hear, especially in the US and other countries, where there is mass shootouts, public shootouts. कितने लोगों को मार दिया जाता है स्कूल में, इधर उधर सब. It's insane. Just because he is having a weapon in hand, he is trying to show his power on others. But is it making sense? Whereas see the culture. ज्ञान लेना बड़ी बात नहीं है. ज्ञान के साथ आपको उसको इस्तेमाल करने का ज्ञान भी लेना जरूरी है. For example, all of you know the story of Karna. So what was the story? Can anyone tell me fast? What did he do? How did he go to Parshuram? How did he go to Parshuram?
He lied, that he's a Brahmana.
Yes, he went and told a lie that I am a Brahmana. And teach me all the Brahminical knowledge, all the Astra Shastra Vidya. And in those days, people were truthful, extremely truthful. So Parshuram did not even doubt him. He felt he must be truly a Brahmana, and he taught him everything. And he learned. He was very smart and intelligent. He learned everything. But one day, when Parshuram was sleeping with his head in Karna's lap, a bee hit him, bit him on the left thigh, and it started keeping on biting. But Karna said, if I get up, my guru, my teacher will be disturbed. I should not disturb my teacher. So he was bearing the pain and the blood. Suddenly, after some time, when Parshuram got up, he said, what is this blood? Then he realized, oh, this worm, this bee had been biting him for a long time, and his whole leg was like swollen and ridden with blood. Immediately, Parshuram asked him, you cannot be a Brahmana. Because a Brahmana doesn't have the strength to undergo or bear such great pain. He understood he was not a Brahmana. And there he had to tell him the truth. And what happened in lieu of that, what it was cursed with? So at the time when you require this knowledge the most, you will forget it. So what does this give an what this story gives an insight to the various level of expert archers of Ayodhya. They never killed a person who was alone, who was without any weapons, or who was running from the battlefield. Never killed. Means what? They were following dharma. The teachers were following dharma. The students were following dharma. And that is the reason why they were happy and prosperous. Today we are finding shortcuts to become happy, shortcuts to become rich. You may get money, but you will not get Lakshmi. What is the difference between money and Lakshmi? Money is wealth, which can be spent or which will be spent only on wrong things. Whereas Lakshmi means which, when it is spent, it will give you something in return. Some pious credits will be given to you. One gives Lakshmi in donation, but one doesn't use Lakshmi for drinking. He uses money for drinking, for eating meat, for illicit sex, for gambling. He uses money. He doesn't bring in Lakshmi. So it's very important. Please understand. We will generally, Lakshmi and money is the same. No. Money even criminals earn. But the pious earn Lakshmi. It may be less in quantity, but it may be giving you more happiness and more pious credits than what money can give. That's why it is always said man has to be contented with what he has, because the more he desires, what does he get? He gets only sadness. Money cannot buy you happiness. It's an old proverb, right? There's nothing new, which I'm telling you something for the first time. Money can never get you happiness. But spite of knowing this, having heard this, we still hope some corner, kahin galti se kuch mil gaya to. That's why we keep on shopping. We keep on spending money on things which we don't know. We don't need also, but we keep on spending it. So please understand, following dharma is the root of happiness. Following dharma may apparently look painful. What is following dharma? Getting up early in the morning, taking a bath. Arey baapre. Early morning, upar se bath. Yes. Then go to the temple, chant a few rounds of the holy name, visit the temple, go for a spiritual, prepare some nice bhoga, wake up your Lord, offer some nice food to the Lord. Modern life is so nice, right? You just have to get up, take some pre-cooked food. Nowadays, that's a funda, right? Pre-cooked food, ready to eat food. Khaliya. You get up at 8:30, 9, no problem. You have to just put it in the oven or in the microwave, take it out, eat it. Just lift your bag. If you don't want to take bath, no problem. You can have a nice perfume bath. Spray a nice perfume and go to office, and on your buck, then come home. Live an animal's life. That is why people are not happy. If you follow a dharmic life, yes, happiness is sure. At least discontentment will not be there. And the focus of the whole day's activities should be, in the end, yes, my end goal is my love towards my Lord. That should be the end goal. That's why Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Ma Manusmarana Yuddhacha. He's telling Arjuna at all times, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu, at all times, Ma Manusmarana, remember me. And then what to do? Yuddhacha, you fight. How is it possible? Bhagavan ko main Bhagavan, Hare Krishna, Phachak, one arrow will come and kill you. In war, either you kill or you get killed. There are only two possibilities. There is no third possibility left. So how could Arjuna do that? And mind you, Lord is telling in the Bhagavad Gita, right? So how will he do? So he will do it as an activity for the happiness of the Lord. Whatever activity you do, even if you produce a child, produce a child with an expectation or with an attitude that yes, I will grow this child into a good devotee. put him in the service of the Lord, then even a sexual act becomes an act of devotion. Whereas when a sexual act is only for the sake of sense pleasure, it is against the laws of dharma. So dharma is very easy to follow, but we find a reason not to follow or how to avoid it, or rather avoiding it is more easier for us materially, but in the long run, you have to pay a very heavy price. Please continue.
These powerful fighters would only kill wild animals like lions, tigers, or wild boars in the forest, which were maddened and roaring with pride. They used to kill these animals using sharp weapons or at times by the might of their bare arms.
They were so powerful, they could just kill the animals, wild animals, by their bare arms. And what to talk about those wild animals? They were used to kill the wild animals only, not humans, because they didn't want to display their power. They didn't want to display their strength. They didn't want to display their skill. They had a different sports for displaying all that, but they were not interested in displaying because their main purpose was to save the. That is the job of a protector, and one who does that job correctly, for him there is no. Continue.
King Dashratha was dwelling in that city which was full of thousands of such great archers and chariot warriors. The city of Ayodhya was filled with fire sacrifice worshippers and virtuous ones. Also, Brahminical scholars were experts in Vedas and its 6 limbs, Angas. Ayodhya also had donors who gave huge charity along with truth-abiding people and great sages.
Very must. If you are giving huge amount of charity also, that's not enough, provided if it should be supported with proper brahmanas and great sages, and the people whom you are giving should be truth abiding. They should be true people. They should not be just take your charity and then misuse it in a wrong way. It should not be the case. So this is very important that we follow these things as far as dharma is concerned, and one who follows dharma, definitely even your very city can become Ayodhya. Your own country can become Ayodhya. The only thing you have to do is you have to change yourself to be more virtuous and follow dharma at every step of your life. Okay, now that this chapter 5 is over, we start chapter number 6 from the next session. I'd like to close today's session over here. Thank you very much. Anybody has got any doubts, questions, can ask.
Prabhuji, there you mentioned, I mean, when she was reading the passages, there were a lot of mention of beautiful. Can you hear me? Yeah, so there was.
One second. Puja Mataji, please close the YouTube.
ये stop ही है हाँ वो I don't know stop पे था अभी I wanted to stop it but it is already stopped I don't know I'll check it
Fine, because here it is showing me it is going on.